Welcome back to Simply Fajika, a place for budding and aspiring entrepreneurs. My name is Fajika and I serve this community as a business mentor, and ultimately I help people achieve receiving their non-medical and medical home care agency licenses. So listen, I am so glad that you have decided to choose my channel for your home care content needs. And if this is the first time you're stopping by, I certainly want to welcome you. So I have a great topic for you all today. What do you do once you actually do all that work? You funnel all of that energy into getting licensed, and now it's time for you to operate. I know I have been guilty. I have shared this on this channel that I was guilty of that. I was guilty of, for so many months, it becomes routine to work on getting your license, putting your policies and procedures together, or working with someone else, such as myself, for those things. It's kind of like you get into that routine, you do that over a period of months, and then when you get that green light, some of us kind of stutter. We don't really know what's next. So in today's video, I want to talk to you about how do you actually operate your agency? What are some tips? What are some best practices? How do you build, grow, and sustain your home care agency? So if that's something that you're interested in, and I truly hope that it is, then stay tuned. So to start this video off, the first thing we need to do is establish your foundation. So when you think of those major processes that will help you to operate your agency, you got to build your foundation around those things. Something that comes top of mind is your client intake process. How are you going to onboard your clients? From the time that a person reaches out to you to the time they actually convert and become your client, what does that process look like? The same goes for your caregivers. Not only about how you're attracting them to your agency, but what does hiring and onboarding them look like? All of these are processes, which leads me to my next item, which is your policies and procedures. Remember, your policies and procedures are definitely needed and are important when it comes to your licensing. But this manual is also going to help you to operate your agency. So all of those things that you discussed in terms of how you're going to handle certain things, you built processes around them. Your policies and procedures will help you have those things come to life in your agency. Make sure that your processes are not only easily understood by you, but these are processes that you can easily train your staff to uphold. This is the first best practice of the video. You have read your state regulations and you have looked at what processes need to go in your policies and procedures, but maybe you're not aware of how to put those things together. I have done some videos on how to put together your policies and procedures, but if you still need help, you can hire a consultant to help you with those items. You can also reach out to me. I am more than happy to help you with creating and standing up your policies and procedures. The second tip we're going to talk about is hiring and retaining your caregivers. So I ran across something online that I really want to share with you. You want to hire for attitude, train for skill, because compassion can't be taught. And remember, compassion goes a long way. As you begin to start your agency, you're really excited. So you are looking for the best in people. However, as you do hiring and interviewing longer, you'll start to recognize some traits that will not be a good culture fit for your agency. So remember, you and the people that you hire, both of you are responsible for creating your agency culture. So you want to be careful with hiring the right people to make sure that your agency is in a state of flourishing. Okay, so it takes the right people to do that. In the past, whenever I wanted to apply for a job, I knew that that company was looking at the same people who had the qualifications and the experience. So I would head into that interview thinking, what makes me different above and beyond those things? I want you to carry that same conversation when you're hiring for your agency. Everyone that you're interviewing, well, mostly everyone, will have the skills you're looking for. They will have the experience you're looking for and the qualifications you're looking for. So that puts everybody at 100%. What takes everybody above that baseline is attitude, personality. Why are they in this business? Why have they chose this line of business? That's different than, oh, this is something I kind of started doing and I just never left. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that would be okay for you. That wouldn't be sufficient for my agency. So really think of those things that you need in your agency that you will be able to pass down to your client and hire for that. You do want to use platforms like Facebook, care.com, Indeed to reach out and staff for your open positions. Definitely you want to offer a strong onboarding experience. Listen, first impressions do matter. And so you want to be proud and show that caregiver the wonderful agency that they have just agreed to work for. So really make sure you spend a lot of time putting together a healthy, robust onboarding program for your caregivers. Communicate regularly. Now, some of you as home agency owners, some of you have expressed to me your frustration in the fact that your employees, this is different than an office where you can literally come in and see who's on your team and really just kind of have those conversations. As an agency owner, your caregivers, your employees, most of them are in the field, right? They're taking care of your clients. So we want to make sure that we're really innovative when it comes to communicating regularly. Maybe it's text messages, maybe it's emails. Is there some type of communication system that you can create so that you can make sure that you're constantly checking in, you're constantly understanding how your caregivers are feeling? It's also a good way for you to infuse some motivation, infuse some recognition into those communication channels. So the next tip that I have for this section is a retention tip. Make sure you celebrate the small wins. And I know if you've listened to me any length of time on this channel, I say this a lot. You want to celebrate the small wins. Are there any work anniversaries? Did someone get a great customer compliment? Maybe there's a birthday that you can celebrate. You really want all of those small things that you think no one pays attention to. Those are the things that build your culture. Create mechanisms where you can get feedback from both your clients and your caregivers so that you can optimize people wanting to be a part of your agency. The third tip that I have for you is scheduling. Okay, this is so important. I want to share with you a sample strategy. When you're initially starting off, you need coverage for all your shifts, right? And so as you start interviewing people and you are strongly considering this person for a position, you should be understanding what their availability is, because at first you need coverage in all areas, right? As you are moving to potentially putting in offers, you should be creating a grid of your caregivers and what their availability is. Over time, you will start to see the holes, and then you need to hire to fill those holes, okay? So I'll use my mom as an example. This is an actual live example. I just finished doing this. So we realized that from week to week, we had coverage during the day, weekday, and the week evenings. And then we also had coverage on weekend evenings. We realized that where we were having issues was weekend days, okay? So I created a posting looking for experienced caregivers, weekend day only, so that everyone who's applying for that role, they know exactly what I want, and if they are able to do that, they're expressing interest, okay? So when you reach out to those people and you start conducting your interviews, I just want to confirm that you understand I'm looking for weekend days at this time. Want to make sure you're okay with that. So this is how you create that hiring strategy. You don't want to get into a place where you've got 20 people and they can all work weekdays. Okay, that's wonderful for weekdays, but what about your evenings? What about your weekends, right? So just kind of like, this is what I mean by strategy, really understanding that you're hiring with purpose. In this section also, you want to consider software that you can utilize. Now, a lot of times, I know for a smaller agency, you're just getting started. A lot of this is going to be by hand. So if you're just using by hand, you could do scheduling in Google, right? Utilize the stuff that you have until you can scale and then start getting those other softwares. You definitely want to match your caregivers to things like compatibility, skill, of course, schedule, right? So this is how you're going to hopefully retain your client, but making sure they have someone that they really can grow to have a great relationship with. Okay, now the pro tip that I have for you in this section is you always want to have a backup plan for call outs. What happens if this caregiver calls out on your client? Okay, so a lot of times what you'll see or what you'll hear a lot of is scheduling 2 people per client. Of course, the person who is scheduled for that client and obviously that backup person. But you want to kind of keep floaters in mind. You want to keep part-time people in mind so that they know that you have them on call for certain shifts. This is the best way that you can ensure that your clients have someone to care for them, even if the person that typically takes care of them calls out for the day. Okay, so the 4th tip that I have for you is delivering that excellent quality care. Your care is always either gonna make you build up your reputation or you will die by it. You got to make sure that you are delivering the care that you're promising your clients. There's just no way around that. And it is your caregivers that become the face of your business and deliver on the commitments that you make to that client during the onboarding process. So it's really important to frequently check in with your clients to ensure that they are receiving the service that you feel that they should be receiving. So one thing that I want to start here is it starts from that first phone call. Make sure that you have a professional greeting and that interaction is led by you. Your goal of that conversation is to get in to do that in-home care assessment, and that in itself is a process. So you want to make sure even your in-home care assessment, you are coming in with your best foot forward. Make sure you have your marketing folders and you're really able to engage that potential client in a way that makes them want to sign up with your agency. You definitely want to build a customer care plan. This is based on the assessment and based off of your first initial interview with them. I would say you definitely want to at some point touch that customized care plan. I would say at least every 90 days. So again, you don't have to go in to do another assessment, but hey, it's just really taking a look at that assessment with that client to make sure, number one, that they are still happy and satisfied with the services they're receiving. But this is also an opportunity to suggest any other services that your client may benefit from. But again, it's just making sure that you are building a solid relationship with your client. Something that also goes into developing that excellent client service is just performing those check-ins. You can discuss with your client and you'll start to get to know your client the longer you work with them. But maybe this is a monthly phone call. Maybe it's a monthly check-in. Hey, can I bring coffee and donuts over this Friday? I would love to just check in with you. You know, that type of thing. So again, just kind of building and creating and sustaining that relationship that really is going to help retain that client with you long term. You want to encourage caregivers to not only document everything, but really feel comfortable to where they feel comfortable communicating with you for any potential red flags. Like, are they starting to see bruises on the client? Has their mood changed, right? Just things like that. Now, honestly, the clients are not going to have a good day every day, but definitely if this is something that they're seeing over time, they should feel comfortable, and you should encourage your caregivers to have that conversation with you. So as the owner, you can decide what to do next. So the pro tip that I have for you here is communication is key. You want to make sure that you are available to not only talk to clients, but to your caregivers. The health of your business really actually depends on how good you communicate. The 5th section that I have for you here is staying compliant and organized. So I have said this on this channel, and I really have to laugh at myself because sometimes we all have good intentions, but we don't actually see what we're envisioning. So I always tell people the best way to stay organized is to start off organized. Don't put things off till later. When you create those processes, make sure that you're actually following them to ensure that you're staying organized. No one likes to clean up, and the further you move away from something that you should have done a long time ago, you start to forget some of those items that occurred over a course of months, right? So it's really important to just follow processes that you create and be consistent with those processes. So you definitely want to keep things current, such as your licensing, any business permits that are required or needed depending on your municipality. Keep your liability insurances, things of that nature. Make sure you're keeping those current and updated. I always tell people it's wonderful to create like a Google Calendar of these things. So when are your permits due? When do you have to renew your licenses? When does your insurance expire? So that way, now these people that you are doing business with really should be hunting you down, but in the case they're not, you definitely don't want your insurances to lapse. So this is something that you want to also keep track of as the agency owner. Couple of additional things here. You want to make sure that you have your caregiver credentials. Make sure they don't have anything that are expiring, but even things such as their driver's license. You know, is their driver's license current? Do you have the updated one, right? Do you have all the testing, all of their qualifications? Is all of that stuff current in their file? And of course, last but not least, your client files. Is everything updated? Do you have the signatures on the things that require signatures? Just making sure that you have everything in the way that it should be and everything is organized. Now, the pro tip that I have for you here is creating a compliance calendar. So do you want to do maybe monthly? Do you want to do, maybe just surprise audits on your client files, your employee files, making sure that you have everything that's expected? Let's say your state wants to come out and do some type of survey or do some type of check-in. Would you be ready for that visit? If the answer is no, really highlight those things that the state may be looking for and then create audits around those materials, okay? So definitely something that will save you big headaches later on. Once your agency is up and running, you definitely want to grow it, but in a way that you can sustain. Biggest thing I'm going to talk about here is marketing. So you want to make sure you're building those relationships with hospitals, community members, things of that nature to really start building that referral base. Absolutely, because this is a word of mouth business, you want to collect testimonials from people that are happy with your services. Do you have any clients, anyone who could speak to the promises that you're making? How you're standing up your business? Can anyone speak to that, right? A pro tip here is that could be part of your marketing collateral. So when you come into that client's home, just have maybe 2 or 3 testimonials ready to show that potential client, right? So, and absolutely, it goes without saying, any testimonials that you have from happy clients, you want to put those on your website as well. Post value-packed content on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. This can also include shouting out your caregivers. Do you have an excellent caregiver? Is there someone on your team that constantly delivers? Shout them out on your social media pages. If you have a client, if you have a success story, if something major happened with your client, shout it out. This is what people like to see coming from your social media. But you can also provide things like safety tips, really just something that keeps your potential client and your client base engaged. Fantastic reminder here is, remember, you're not just running a business, you're on a mission. Stay focused on serving with excellence and growth will follow. So that is the end of today's video. I do hope that you found this information valuable. Please do me a favor and like this video. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification so that you are notified each and every time I drop a new video. That's all I have for you all today. Stay blessed.